Joining us, we're a show that takes the behind-the-scenes look into the gritty, non-glamorous life of aircraft maintenance. We share some laughs, impart some wisdom, all in hopes of giving you a split-second's relief in your day that can hopefully prevent a mishap. I am your co-host 6, and once again, I am going to be flying solo for today's episode. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that our schedules have been extremely hectic these past couple months, and it's really have been taking a toll on our personal and professional life. And we've taken some time to recoup and just realign ourselves with our priorities and everything. And we appreciate your patience in helping us find that center. And we hope to return you back to regularly scheduled episodes here in the very near future. For this episode, it's going to be off the beaten path quite a bit. And this episode was actually inspired by a hilarious conversation with my kids and how cool would it be to get invited into the Pokémon World Championships. So those of you who have kids, you can really relate just how immersive and how in-depth Pokemon is. And then for those of you who have no clue what Pokemon is, I mean, long story short, it was a video game that has now evolved into a lifestyle. So, and it's a really all-encompassing world, really. It started with video games, now it's trading cards, it's TV shows, it's all sorts of stuff. So, like, if you even had a childhood in the 90s, like, Pokemon was, like, everywhere. And it still really is. And these are one of the few ways that I actually stay engaged and interacting with my kids. And hopefully everyone else who has kids, if you don't play Pokemon with them and they're young enough to actually get involved with it, I highly encourage you to do so, man. Like, that's probably one of like the key family activities that we can all relate to. And it kind of flashes me back to when I was younger. So it's a win-win for all of us. And then likewise, this also started with being with my kids watching YouTube videos, and then they see how a lot of these different content creators, how they got invited to witness all sorts of Pokemon stuff at the World Championships of Pokemon. So this is kind of like my way of appeasing them and just kind of taking our hilarious conversation and running with it. So for today, I want to explore a little bit on what the aviation industry would look like if it was the world of Pokemon. So we're going to imagine what Pokemon aircraft mechanics, pilots, and other aviation specialists would be if they were Pokemon. So fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be pretty funny. And for those of you who actually are pretty into the lore of Pokemon or have kids who can really explain this to you, please by all means do that. And don't hate me for my choices. This is really just off the cuff. So with that said, let's get into this. First things first, let's talk about aircraft mechanics, right? These guys and gals are literally the backbone of aviation. I'm sorry, we just are. You know, we run this place, and we make sure everything is in tip-top shape. If aircraft mechanics were Pokemon, I think they'd be like Machamp, the fighting type Pokemon, otherwise called the superpower Pokemon. Yeah, that's right. So picture this, a four-arm Pokemon holding a different tool in each arm, just working tirelessly on an engine, on an aircraft, on all sorts of stuff, just like really just going ham with all four arms. Like Machamp, aircraft mechanics, they're strong, they're dependable, they can handle any heavy lifting with ease. Plus Machamp, he's a fighting type, so stuff like their like fighting type moves, such as a dynamic punch or a seismic toss, that would be perfect for those stubborn bolts that just won't budge. So that's who I imagine aircraft mechanics to be, is Machamp from Pokemon. Second of all, we have pilots. Pilots need to be quick thinkers, always ready for any situation that comes their way. And for this role, I'd say pilots would be like Pidgeot, the bird Pokemon, right? Pidgeot is known for its speed and eyesight and be able to spot trouble from miles away. And they navigate through the skies with grace. They're also probably one of the fastest Pokemon out there. Well, as far as flying types are concerned, right? Plus, imagine a Pidgeot wearing aviator sunglasses and a pilot's hat. It just fits, right? It just fits. So once again, for pilots, hate it or love it, you're a Pidgeot. Um, Now let's talk about air traffic controllers, right? Air traffic controllers, these folks have a very critical job of coordinating all the planes in the sky, making sure they reach their destination safely. They got to manage a lot of stuff, right? And that takes a lot of brain power to do and a lot of patience too, right? So if air traffic controllers were Pokemon, they'd 100% be a psychic type Pokemon. And the ones I think that would be a psychic type and have that supercomputer like brain capacity to manage all the chaos filled stuff of air traffic control, they'd be an Alakazam. That's the supercomputer, super smart brain Pokemon with the two spoons. I don't know why two spoons though. That's my one thing. Like, why two spoons? I guess it's to really sell the psychic thing. So with Alakazam's incredible intelligence and psychic abilities, it can keep track of multiple planes, predict any issues before they arise. And just like an air traffic controller, Alakazam has a calm, collected demeanor even under pressure. So congratulations, air traffic controllers. If you were a Pokemon, you'd be the psychic type Alakazam. Congrats to you. Next off, we have who else? Who else can I say? The maintenance planners. Maintenance planners are another key part of the aviation world. They're the ones who keep track of all the scheduled maintenance and ensure everything runs smoothly. For those, I would say it's like it's definitely a specialty, but I wouldn't say it's one of those hyper special things. It's definitely something that has to happen on the reg, because if it doesn't take place, then everything else kind of crumbles. I'm sorry to say. If you hate it or love it, maintenance planners are a necessity. And especially if you're in a big outfit, like that has so many different pieces moving and so many different maintenance actions happening, you 100% need a maintenance planner. Just hate it or love it. So for that, I definitely would say maintenance planners are a normal type. And for a normal type to deal with those kind of complexities and then to keep track of all that stuff, I would say they would be most likely like a Porygon Z. Like that the whole series of Porygon, particularly Porygon Z. One reason why is because they look funny. It just looks weird. If you guys Google Porygon Z, it just looks like this weird rubber balloon duck thing. But on a good note, Porygon Z is known for its data processing ability and its ability to navigate complex systems, which makes it a perfect Pokemon for the job. So with Porygon Z on the team, you can be sure that no maintenance task will be overlooked. So for those of you who are maintenance planners, hate it or love it, you're a Porygon Z. Our next one is flight attendants. They often get overlooked, flight attendants do. And most of the time, they just think they're just stewards, like stewardesses. But for those who are not very familiar with what flight attendants do, yeah, they do steward-like stuff. But they're also very essential flight personnel. They're there to ensure the safety of the aircraft. They're there to ensure like the safety and survivability of the people in the aircraft. And they perform all sorts of other functions that help the pilots do the thing that they do. And again, I'll kind of classify this could be a 50-50 thing. They can either be normal types, because it's like one of those that if it doesn't happen, then everything kind of goes to crap. And they can also be like fairy types, because like they're so nurturing, they're so helpful, they're very caring in a lot of the things that you do. And since they're caring, there has to be some form of hospitality to that, right? And let's be honest, man, whenever a flight attendant comes down the aisle with like the service cart, you know your flight just got significantly better, right? Depending on the snacks and the drinks and whatnot that they bring, you know your flight just got better. I'm sorry to say, it just has, right? So for that, since they have friendly faces and you see them every flight, and then making sure the passengers are safe and comfortable, if flight attendants were Pokemon, I think they'd be most like a Chansey. For those who are kind of sort of unfamiliar, Chanseys are those Pokemon that are like nurses. And they, if you ever watch the TV show, they're that pink thing that always follows Nurse Joy around. And Chansey again is known for its caring nature, its ability to heal others, and it generally just makes people happy, right? So I think that's a perfect fit for flight attendants. Plus, so imagine a Chansey walking down the aisle handing snacks and just drinks with this big happy smile on their face, right? So instead of like the nurse hat, it's a flight attendant's uniform. I just think it fits. So for flight attendants, hey, you guys are a Chansey. Finally, we have the aviation safety inspectors, the quality assurance inspectors, just the aviation inspectors in general. These are the folks I would 100% see as a fighting type because they have to be ready to support their findings. They have to be able to stand their ground of what the standards are and whatnot. So, and then a lot of times, they'll clash with other fighting types, aka aircraft mechanics. Sorry, it's just the thing between inspectors and mechanics. We just have like this unspoken clash of each other. And most time, it's usually like a 50-50 toss up on who actually wins. Most cases, it's the inspectors because they know what the hell they're saying. But at the same time, you also have these inspectors who are just a little over the top when it comes to the stuff they actually find. And a lot of it can be real nitpicky. So there's that too. But hey, I hope you guys had as much fun listening to this episode as I did making it. It was very off the cuff, and it actually is kind of funny. So for aircraft inspectors, these folks are responsible, and they're responsible for ensuring that all safety regulations and other standards, federal or national, whichever country you're in, that they're being followed. Right. And again, since I would see them as a fighting type who has to stand up to their beliefs in these standards, making sure that they are followed. So if aircraft inspectors or aviation inspectors, if they were Pokemon, I would see them as Lucario. That's the Anubis looking Pokemon for those of you who are kind of hazy on it. Lucario is possibly my favorite. And that's a double bias now because he was always my favorite because he looks like Anubis. And then second of all, because a lot of inspectors' traits, which I've done inspecting myself, really relate to Lucario. And Lucario has like this strong sense of justice. He can sense the auras of people and just kind of tell like when they're lying, so to speak. Like I can tell when your aura is wrong, like you're trying to hide stuff or you're trying to be shady. Like, that doesn't sound right. Let's dig into this more, and then really just unravel a whole bunch of stuff. So that makes Lucario the perfect Pokemon for spotting any potential issues, and it relates so well to aviation inspectors, both for safety and for quality. So plus Lucario, like again, since Lucario is my favorite Pokemon, he has like this move. It's called Aura Sphere. I am super nerding out right now, so please, everybody, be like, what the shit is Six talking about? This nerd. Anyway, Lucario has this move. It's called Aura Sphere. It basically looks like a giant, like a soul fireball, really. Or if any of you have ever played like the video game Street Fighter, it looks like that. Like when they do the Hadouken fireball, it looks just like that. So when this guy can throw a fireball, he's meaning business. And I kind of wish I could do that. Like if I'm doing an inspection and I see something wrong and I can actually just fireball somebody, that'd be actually kind of funny. and imagine like an actual day in aviation where people are Pokemon, and then that's like how they settle things. That they just have like a Pokemon battle where they don't actually die, they just faint and they get the little spray bottle and then they're fine, and then just go about their day like nothing happened, and then you gain experience for every time you do fight. So for all of my fellow aviation inspectors out there, both for safety and quality, I'm trying to be objective in this, but I'm also kind of biased. You guys are the fighting type, or Lucario the fighting Pokemon. Congrats to you guys. Well, there you have it, everybody. That is our aviation specialist as Pokemon. I hope you had fun listening to this episode as I did making it. Again, like this was a very off the cuff, spur of the moment, and it was just such a hilarious conversation I've had with my kids as they were playing Pokemon and watching other content creators like talk about stuff about Pokemon. So it was just so stuck in my head. Like, you know what? This would be hilarious if this was actually a aviation related episode. So I don't know. Pokemon Company, if you're listening to this, I hope this gets an invite to the Pokemon World Championships. Hint, hint, wink, please. Or at the very least, be like one of those where they give you like a bunch of plushies so I can give my kids. That would be hilarious. But once again, everybody, thank you so much for hearing this episode and just kind of joining me on this very off color, off the cuff, way off the beaten path topic. But hey, let us know what you guys think. For those of you who've played Pokemon, what sort of, do you agree with my choices? Do you think that it should be others? What kind of generations is your favorite? Would Aircraft Mechanics be Machamp and all these other ones I've mentioned, or would they be something else? And give me some justifications as to why. This would be a very hilarious conversation. Let us know in the comments, our social medias, emails, website, whichever is the absolute easiest for you. The best way to get a hold of us and have conversations such as these silly ones like right now, or more in-depth and serious conversations that can help you grow personally and professionally, is via our Discord channel on Patreon. All our supporters, they've been very helpful to us, and they've been giving us insights into their world and how we can all grow personally and professionally. So there's also that for you all. On that note, hey, we appreciate y'all for listening and joining me again on this totally off-topic episode. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody. We would like to take this time to thank our patrons for supporting our show and allowing us to make episodes, maintain our gear, and create merch for all of our listeners. With special thanks to Erica Lamont, Chris Hawkins, Eric Shaw, Dan Schubert, Ryan Frushauer, Kyle Keir, Mike Sherwood, Caleb Stockhill, and Jennifer Brofer. Thank you all so much for your support and patronage. If you like our show, please support us on Patreon. You'll receive awesome perks like access to our private Discord, discounts and early access to our merch, first glimpse of our comics and other projects, and so much more. You can further support us and show off your prowess as an aircraft specialist by visiting our shop at cancelformaintenance.com. If you like classy or rugged watches, visit our affiliate Rockwell Time at rockwelltime.com. Use the code CX, the number 4MX to save 10% off your total order. If you have suggestions for the show or you'd like to be a guest on the show, send us a line on our contact us section at cancelformaintenance.com. And we'll do what we can to get both your ideas and yourself on the show. Please support us on social media like Facebook at Cancel for Maintenance, Instagram at CANX for Maintenance Podcast, or Twitter at CXMX Podcast. Please check out our new comic series on the Tapas app. Like, share, subscribe, and comment on our comics. Let us know what you think. Thank you all so much for your support and listenership, and we will catch you all next time.